Hi, my name is Dr. Jermaine Bamfo, and I'm currently working in early intervention and psychosis with a team based in northeast London. It's been a very tough and mentally taxing year and a bit. We've been thrust into the unknown with this coronavirus pandemic, and it has been quite bewildering when everywhere you look, everyone else is also dealing with a degree of uncertainty. I've been thrown out of comfort zones, redeployment. I'm sure I'm not alone in saying that, dealing with a new kind of risk and jeopardy in the pandemic has been anxiety inducing at times. Very quickly, I was made aware of my increased susceptibility to bad outcomes in the pandemic due to my racial background. And unfortunately, it's been quite difficult losing close colleagues who've passed away as a result of COVID. That has been quite difficult and traumatic for myself and the teams in which I've been involved in. Another topical point is there was a period of time a few months ago where we were being confronted with episodes of black trauma almost on a daily basis, including, most significantly, I should say, the murder of George Floyd. And I eventually had to police my exposure to these images because at one point I was running the risk of becoming numb to things, images, words, videos, which should always be so viscerally horrifying to bear witness to. So right now, there's a degree of mental fatigue, feeling worn out by the events of the past few months, the past year and a bit, and also, the prospect of a potentially difficult winter ahead. So it's been a difficult time, but I'm sure I won't be alone in saying that. It's difficult for me personally to pinpoint a specific figure. So for me, the best answer would probably be the black community. Having participated in a variety of mentorship schemes over the years and watching black trauma play out in our black youth communities in particular, and also the inadequate responses from various parties to that trauma in making sure that people are dealing with hurt and pain and preserving their mental well-being in a constructive way. So I'm very motivated in using my medical knowledge to be an advocate for mental health in the black community, particularly when there are still many areas in our communities where there is a lot of stigma, which is preventing people from getting the help and support that they need. I have to say that there have been a lot of really positive changes, but in saying that, there is still a lot of work to be done to address the inequalities that persist and exist. Some of those inequalities are magnifications of those which exist in society at large, but there are still structural and institutional inequalities within psychiatry today. Leadership starts at the top, and both the past and present Royal College of Psychiatry presidents, Professor Wendy Byrne and Dr. Adrian James, they must be applauded because they have put a lot of energy in placing a spotlight on this issue. And by cultivating a culture in the college of acknowledging racial diversity and racial issues, they've given a platform for prominent black psychiatrists to hold, engage in and active discussions and become active participants in enforcing real and effective change. Now, I've only been working in mental health for a handful of years, so my experience is a drop in the ocean compared to other clinicians like Professor Agre Berg, for example, or Dr. Lade Smith, who is the lead for race equality at the Royal College of Psychiatrists. I mean, these are trailblazers who have worked in the field of psychiatry for decades, and they may be able to comment more accurately on the generational shifts of being black and working in psychiatry. One thing that I can say is that I'm a big believer in action being better than words, and I think that there is a positive to be noticed in that not only are there more discussions about what it means to be black and working in psychiatry and the mental health sectors, or what it means to be black and suffering from mental illness, but it's also positive that it appears that more action is being taken to acknowledge what's being said and to address the issues at hand in order to level the playing field. in terms of the workforce, a diverse, a representative workforce at all levels of the system, and one which is equipped with the skills and capabilities it needs to advance mental health equalities is absolutely fundamental to achieving long-term change, which I believe people want to see, and I believe that our community, the Black community, needs to see. There has been progression on the surface, but unfortunately, the roots of many of the tenets of racism in the UK appear to be stronger than ever. I think in today's world and climate, we are dealing with a different, more subliminal kind of racism. Racism is evolving, it's something on a rebrand, so it's easier for somebody to be racist and then dismiss any outrage that comes their way as playing the race card, for example. The monster of intolerance in this country is being fed ferociously by the media and by politicians who are undermining efforts to secure equality and enhance tolerance in our society. A couple of sanctuary reports which have been released in the past year, a couple of years, have undermined efforts to secure equality by downplaying the impact of structural and institutional racism, and I think that's unfortunate. Paying lip service does not equate to liberation and change. It's not longer enough for people to just know about racism. We must act. We must all act. At every level, we must all make a commitment to achieve real and meaningful progress in challenging inequality and prejudice, which is real and exists at every level, from the patient level right up to the highest echelons of the NHS. And this community must support this commitment, which should be shared by everybody, whatever their background in our organisation. So I hope that when I reach the end of my career one day, I can bear witness to the fact that meaningful change and progress has been made to address the inequalities that we see today in psychiatry and in treating mental illness in the Black community.